We're ready to read the newspapers, and we have a couple of your messages on WhatsApp. We will be reading a couple of them to you. Let me see. Okay. All right. Please.
Isn't that your private WhatsApp, or you want to announce the number? You've merged it.
Who says the two numbers? We are abreast of technology.
So when people
These
send,
are some of the problems
when people send the messages to 056800,000, you can see it on your phone.
Sometimes.
That's right.
Please try and do the newspaper. The Daily Graphic is where we start.
The Daily Graphic, front page of the Daily Graphic. Stop campaign rhetoric and fix unemployment challenges. TUC tells political parties. Reverend Richard Kwesi Yeboah, the national chairman of the Trades Union Congress, is pictured here, pictured by Maxwell Oklu on the front page of the Daily Graphic. KMA elects Amekom Hene as presiding member. Indum angry with Electoral Commission over selective justice. That story on page 20, back page of the Daily Graphic. Adentan Assembly to construct court complex to facilitate justice delivery. So let's just a bit of this story on the KMA on page 16, because we've been looking forward to this for such a very long time. We know the battles that they've gone through and how difficult it's been for them to elect a presiding member. Finally, they now have reached some kind of consensus, and there is a presiding member. A story filed by Daniel Kenu, who is in Kumasi. Good morning to you, Mr. Kenu. It says that after many failed attempts to elect a presiding member, the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly yesterday finally elected the Amekom Hene, Nana Edu Mensah Sari, as its new presiding member. The 147-member assembly endorsed the compromised candidates following a pre-election meeting with the Kumasi Traditional Council at the instance of the Asante Hene Otumfuo said to the second to broker peace last Saturday. The Amekom Hene, a teacher by profession, and two other chiefs, Nana Mensah Bonsu, the Aseyiri Hene, and Nana Kwan Bonsu, Otumfuo's chief linguist, were sworn in by a High Court judge, Mr. Justice Charles A.J. Wilson, as government appointees to the Assembly. It's more like hooray and amen. May they fix all the problems in the Assembly. And if there are any regulations to fix so that we don't get to this point again, may they do it as well. There's this other story in the graphic. Man 62 arrested for alleged fraud on OLX platform. More stories in the paper. You can go grab it.
Now let's look at the Ghanaian Times. And of course, once we have just a little over 50 days to the main elections, on December 7 is when we're going to convene the very election. Of course, where your election headquarters, you should find a lot more of the stories on the front pages concerning the election. Ghanaian Times has captured EC rejects Kunedu's petition, and then we also have 24 aspirants disqualified from contesting parliamentary seats in Ashanti.
Yeah, but that story they say is not true.
Yes,
that was in our AM News.
Is it on this one too?
No, in the graphic, no, I didn't see any story like that.
Ghanaian Times, not true. President questions some pastors' moral uprightness, and then we have on the back page, injury time winner ends Black Maidens campaign. They did well, but the North Koreans were better. Upper West Hospital to be partially opened.
But Roland, just read a bit of that story on the front page. The 24 people disqualified. Maybe they've got a different source.
It's the same thing.
Maybe they have a different source confirming.
It says 24 parliamentary aspirants in the Ashanti region have been disqualified by the Electoral Commission from contesting the upcoming parliamentary election. It says a total of 240 aspirants from 12 political parties. They found to contest the 47 parliamentary seats in the region, with 19 of them contesting as independents. And Mr. Sirbo Kwaku, who is the Ashanti Regional Director of the Electoral Commission, who disclosed this in Kumasi yesterday, said the aspirant failed to pay their nomination fees and meet the necessary requirements before the September 30 deadline. Okay,
so that's the contention.
Yes.
Because he said that didn't mean they've been disqualified. Right. I think that's the point of correction that's coming from the Deputy Communications Director, the Electoral Commission, Mr. Yusuf Ayuba. Yeah, because he said that at the press conference, everybody assumed that because they had not paid and the deadline had come, it means that they had been disqualified. We wait to see.
We'll see how that goes. So far, once it's been declined, at least we know that they still have a chance of going through.
All right, let's do the weekend find out. Elections in danger. Experts decries over 2 million weapons in wrongful hands. We have not approved any medicine that cures HIV/AIDS. the Food and Drugs Authority saying here as well. So this issue about weapons in wrongful hands, we know there was a window of opportunity for persons who had weapons, small arms or whatever it is, illegally to present it, and there was a promise that they were not going to be prosecuted. But this story says, despite the recent recovery of almost 1,800 illicit weapons from Ghanaians under a special amnesty program launched by the Ministry of Interior in conjunction with the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons, there are still fears that the security of the state is far from secure, especially as the nation braces up itself for the crucial December 7 general election. So according to conservative estimates, there are still over 2 million unregistered guns in wrongful hands all over the country. You can continue to read the rest of the story in the Weekend Finder newspaper. Roland, what paper have you got?
I've got the Daily Guide on the front page. It says EC rejects 30 MP snubs Kunedu. We have KMA gets presiding member at last is the Amakum Hini. And he is Nana Mensah Sare. Ministers use Daily Guide over Shatawale.
That will be Ines Afuseni. Remember when Shatawale went to perform at his campaign launch in Tamale?
We have to do the dispatch. It says NCC survey shames doomsayers. Apparently 66% of Ghanaians, they trust the Electoral Commission. That is to conduct free and fair polls in December. And only 22% apparently wanted new register. And they also have matters of concern to the Ghanaian voter following that very survey by the NCC. It is the 2016 presidential and parliamentary elections. There is on, and you have a lot more. Back page, we have Lodina on fight against human trafficking and child labor. And she also had been doing her bit. Or trying to go to communities and see what their plights are, etc., etc., etc.
And I like the fact that she does her own thing, irrespective of the atmosphere.
Yeah,
she does a lot of underground work.
She seems to be very vibrant on the ground.
She is.
Right.
All right, let's do the Chronicle newspaper. Adopt a polling station. NPP tells supporters media must stop sowing seeds of confusion between Dede and Asamoah Gyan. You can go to hell, EC tells Kunedu. Did she exactly say these words? You can find out on page 3 in the Chronicle. Kwesi Indum invades courts with 18 lawyers, and the death is reported of Stephen Obuobilabi, 62, on Monday, October 10, 2016. And this is a man that Roland looked up to at some point in his career as well.
Yes.
This is Stephen Labi.
I mean, he rests in perfect peace.
Yeah. All right.
He was a PR person. And,
okay, so that's it for the Chronicle.
okay, so we have on the front page of the new crusading guide, Election 2016 About Your Future, Akufo-Addo advises students. IPP accuses EC of selective justice, demands reinstatement. We're talking about still concerns being raised by individuals among the bunch. That's 13 presidential aspirants who were disqualified from the race in December. Then Jackson College students on warpath over students' postings. They issued 2 weeks ultimatum, and NDC Zongo Caucus rallies Zongo communities to renew President Mahama's mandate. It's at the corner there. Small. You can't see from here. Don't worry.
We can.
You can, eh?
Yeah, I can.
No, you can see the caption. It's here, please. But I know you can't read, but don't worry.
NDC Zongo Caucus rallies.
That one is at the Daily Guys.
Yeah, but what's so special about it?
Oh, okay.
Like
that's all for the news. What can we do?
You are so strange. We do myjournalline.com. That's our website. JUSAC threatens strike again. Max October 21 to withdraw services. Aren't we tired of this? It says that the Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana has threatened to withdraw services by October 21 if government fails to address issues concerning the implementation of their consolidated salaries. Listen, Roland, this is what I've said before. What do they tell them when they are on strike and they call it? Or what did they tell them? What is it just assurances that they give them?
From the last idea, they've not been given their due.
Because this is the same issue.
If I were them, I will go on strike forever.
That's like sack yourselves. That's like leave the job then. Let people who are ready to work.
I'm saying that if you work for a private law firm, you can't go on strike.
No, you cannot.
Private sector, you can go straight because the master.
Yeah, but you're not saying that their call is illegitimate though, because we don't know. Because sometimes, listen, when the National Labour Commission sit through these meetings, sometimes government does not do its parts. And so they may have the legitimate, but I don't know, Charlie. I don't know. Like, you know, when you keep coming back with the same thing, like everybody gets tired of you. That's what I'm trying to say.
Local government expert apparently is backing MPP on election of MMDCs. What do you think?
Charlie.
Yeah, I want them to be like, I can imagine, let's say KMA boss being elected. The candidate who will be elected definitely. But you know,
I think that the challenge has been if you're elected, which is like a fantastic idea, but which party is in government? Because you need to, there should be a lot of collaborations. And if we look at what has happened to this KMA, the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, this is small compared to like what has even happened, how they fought so hard
but
to get a presiding
the
member.
Presidential. We had a commission to look at to review the constitution. They brought their reports, gave it to the presidency, and they issued a white paper. And the white paper that the presidency issued, they will put forward the candidates for election.
Yeah, which I think so maybe it's a first step.
So it still means that you still be having the president
no, but that's workable.
Nominating his people to be elected.
But that's workable.
But it's the same thing.
If you look at where we are, if you look at where we are as a country, I think that's our best option of development for now.
So you're not saying that
if you brought a totally different person who people could identify and say, oh, you are in the opposition party. I mean, how's that person going to work
with the present government?
Charlie, some way.
Okay, so let's say Accra, they elect somebody who is very much an MPP person, and then the government in power is NDC. So whatever the government wants to do, he'll shoot it down.
No, it's not possible. Necessarily, but he will be left alone as well, because you collect monies from the assembly, but how much? Because you have a lot of projects that you want to undertake. Of course. Of course.
And it will be more difficult, especially when you go to areas where they depend a lot more on the consolidated fund.
Yeah. Because, you would have a Greater Accra regional minister who will not be your party person. And there are a lot of, all the ministries are in Accra.
So you're saying we're not ready yet?
I don't think we are ready, but who am I? I'm not an expert. They are the local governance experts.
That's why we'll call somebody else.
Cocoa producer price increase from 7,520 per ton Ghana cedis. The Ghana Cocoa Board has reviewed upwards the producer price of cocoa from 6,720 Ghana cedis per ton to 7,520 Ghana cedis per ton for the 2016-2017 season. Sounds significant, but what do the people say? How Burkina Faso's different religions live in peace. It will be good to read this. We will renovate all markets. President Mahama, he's promised to renovate all major markets across the country, including the Malam Ata, Mankesim. Roland, is this Seleha? Is that it?
Salaha.
Salah
market is in a
Oh, okay. The Tachima market, if he is re-elected into office. So we're going to be doing all these in 4 years?
Renovate all major
markets.
Kotokrava market, cherry fine. Okay. Have you seen the Kotokrava market? It's nice.
I think I've only seen it like I haven't really appreciated. I haven't really kind of like.
But they need to do the road around. I think the road around the market is bad. They need to do it.
Mahama represents the biggest threat to Ghana's future, according to Nana Dankwe Akufo-Addo. KMA elects presiding member after several infighting. EC lawyer justifies disqualification of NDP presidential aspirants. Okay, so the Electoral Commission say they acted within the law. City FM Online, election 2016 is about your future. Nanado tells students hefty taxes, a punishment for businesses. Ken Oforiata says also PPP will not join any political party in the Mashores. Nana Kunidu can't blame us for her disqualification. That's according to the Electoral Commission. Okay, so there's a piece here. Our love for the Black Stars is dead indeed. Benedict also did a beautiful documentary on this.
Is it still in Tamale?
Where's the lab? No! Charlie, the guy is cruising in South Africa.
What's he doing there?
In Cape Town.
Haven't we played the match? Why are you still playing Black Star?
Ask him, not me. Why are you asking me?
Okay. Fred, please call Benedict. Let's ask his whereabouts. And the day two played in the match.
No, he didn't. He hasn't been fit.
But
right?
where is that picture coming from?
No. It's a piece. It's a piece.
Ah.
It's a piece, like an article
I
or
thought
something.
That maybe because we drew against Uganda, he's crying.
Oh no, this is an old game.
And he's being comforted by.
This is an old game. There's a story in the paper, and that seems to suggest that some people are kind of like pitching the DIU against
the day is crying. And then
let's move on. Friend of mine, let's move on. So Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari's wife warns him in a BBC interview that she may not back him at the next election unless he shakes his government. Yeah, there are people who have, like different views. Like,
I thought this man, they say you govern well.
But those days are not now. Things have changed.
Charlie.
And this is like a purely democratic.
It's not that you never know.
I know people who backed him, who really
are now backtracking.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's the thing about endorsing political candidates. Somebody said, I think, was it Reggie Rockstone who said, because we were talking about entertainers, on my radio program, entertainers who, definitely, who endorse political parties. And he said that when you do that, I mean, it's like you're a spokesperson for that party. And if they come and they don't do well,
you kind of
that's on you as well.
You kind of have your credibility on the
line.
I do agree.
That's it's kind of shaky.
He's not been able to free them.
No, they have actually. Yesterday, 21 girls were released, and there's
after how many years?
2 years.
How many were
2 years?
Kidnapped?
How many?
200 and something.
Yeah, but but quite a number of them have been, but it's not still like you don't know for sure. But 21 girls, and the report was that it was a swap. Like they exchanged them for 4 prisoners. But that has also been denied by the Nigerian government. So the highlights, no prisoner swap. So that's the story for Chibok girls.
Where was he when he was? This picture was taken. Do you know where?
Does that matter?
Okay,
so 21, there's a story I was just sharing. 21 of the Nigerian schoolgirls kidnapped in 2014 by Boko Haram Islamist militants have been freed, the president's spokesman confirms. But what they did to get them, nobody knows, since they are denying that they exchanged prisoners for the girls.
Wahala don't come.
But it's good news, except that these girls came with children as well. Like they are not the same.
Yes.
I listened to Akwesi Sapon interview a mother yesterday afternoon, and she didn't know if her daughter was part of the 21. She was hoping, and it was Charlie, she was still very hopeful if she was not part of the 21, that kind of thing. There are still a lot of mothers and parents out there whose children, they don't even know if they're going to see them. But I thought very little. If my child came back with a child or children, what would I do?
You have to embrace your child.
Charlie.
Your child
and your grandchild or your grandchildren?
Yeah, well, that child is part of your child. So.
But you see the grandchild, and it reminds you each time of the people who did that to your child.
Yes, it may remind you, but it will take some time. It's traumatic, I know, but you just have to embrace it.
Amazing.
A lot of things come to mind when you're a parent, and once you start having children, you tend to think beyond the ordinary about a lot of things that may happen. Yeah. Even though you don't wish that they happen.
It's true. But this woman's child was 18.
Foremost, you have to be a parent first before you become the sympathizer and the person who wants to avenge and take revenge and that kind of thing. Yes. Riddle.
Who's the longest serving monarch?
Riddle. Yeah. The Thai. Is that what?
Okay, so we are done.
No, I monitor the news just like you do. So what they read about anyway, we have to take a break. But today we decided to intersperse a lot more of our segments in transitioning into the next with a lot more music, and I hope that you enjoy as we prepare ourselves for sports and a lot more of the interludes.